Alright, so once you have done downloading the installer, which is less than 4 gigabytes in size, to the version, to the 27 version, before it was even less, just hit the right click, execute as administrator option if you are on Windows, or just execute it if you are on Mac. Give it just a minute to finish loading all the components. Then when it's done, it's going to give you this type of menu. It's quite easy and quite simple, the installation process. Just hit the next button. It's going to give you the license agreement. You can review it and then hit the accept button and then simply hit the next button. Now, if you are using a Spanish version of ArchiCAD, it's going to give you two options, whether you want to install it on the international standard or whether you want to use it for the Latin America standard, which is just a difference between the library parts, the default template, which might come in handy if you are from Spain or from somewhere from Latin America. But if you are working with the international version of ArchiCAD, it's not going to give you this option, and it's straight away going to go to the next option where you can select where you want to install ArchiCAD. By default, well, in my case it's Windows. It's going to install it in C program files, Graphisoft. That's the access directory for the program, and that's the access directory we are going to use when we load in the library parts for ArchiCAD, something we're gonna comment in upcoming lessons. But once you specify the install directory, just hit the next button. It's going to give you two extra options if you want the basic installation or if you want to customize completely your installation, maybe not install BIMX or maybe not install the guides. I would recommend that you leave it on the typical or the basic installation so it installs pretty much everything, including BIMX, including the license manager, including everything you need to work with ArchiCAD properly. And just hit the next button. It's going to give you a quick recap of which components it's going to install, and just hit that install button and just give ArchiCAD a few minutes to finish up installing on your computer. And once it's done installing, which is quite a fast, relatively fast process, you can select if you want to create an access directory or a shortcut on your computer. Usually I just leave it on. And the second option, if you want to update automatically ArchiCAD, I would suggest that you also leave it turned on. So just hit the next button. It's going to give you the option to access online help, something I usually give out along the whole course, so you can either way consult it there or review it along the course. Just hit the next button, and now ArchiCAD has been correctly installed in your computer, so you can hit the finalize button. It's going to ask you if you want to restart your computer. I would recommend that you do restart your computer, or if you want to restart it later, you can also select the no option, however you want. So now what we have to do is open up ArchiCAD and finish up registering the program, because one part is the installation and the other is the registration of the serial number. So just hit the right click, execute as administrator button. It's going to open up the welcome menu. We're still not gonna get the prompt to input the serial number, the ID. So what you have to do is just click the new button, the new project button, and then it's actually going to give you now the option to select how you want to register your program. So you got 4 different options. You can use a commercial physical key if you want to register a commercial version. You can use, the second option is to use a serial number. This is the one we are going to use for trial and for educational versions. You have a third option where you can activate the software with an emergency license, something a little bit more specific. And the fourth option is to use the software with the demo version, which in other words, you can use the software just for learning purposes, yes, but it's not going to allow you to save your progress. You won't be able to export. You won't be able to copy and paste. You simply can use the software to check out the different functions, to mess around with the options. In this case, what we want to do is let's activate the second option, register an evaluation and educational license. This is where, once again, it's going to ask you input your ID, the email you just used for your registration, and the serial number that the site gave you. So what you can do is simply Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, copy and paste the data. Just make sure, just in case it gives you an error, make sure you always don't leave any space between the data. So just delete the space, and now it's going to give you a check mark. And finally, just hit the restart button for ArchiCAD. Give it some time. It's going to restart ArchiCAD once again. And now the software is pretty much ready to be used along the course. So with this, it's pretty much done. This is a process to register and install and register once again an official license for your software. You can use it for 30 days without any additional troubles. So for this case, take as much time as you need, get your software ready. So in the next module, we now start with the practical side of our course.